maybe this author is just never gonna be for me, and that's totally fine. I just don't vibe with her writing, and that's okay. I wish I could tell you what is going on with my head with words, but like the words are not coming out. Does that make sense? Like literally how? Hi everyone, my name is Tori. This is Novel Life. Welcome back to my channel, and welcome to the start of a brand new reading vlog that I am so excited to dive into. I'm going to be reading 3 romantasy books that are literally like some of the most anticipated romantasy books of the summer, for some people of the year, and I am super excited that I have an e-arc and or a physical arc of all 3 of these books. So I'm going to be reading them for you. I'm going to be telling you my thoughts about them, and I'm going to tell you if I think you should pick them up on release day, which when this video goes up, it'll be the 6th of July, and all 3 of these books come out on the 8th. So it is literally like Battle of the Romantasy on July 8th. I don't know why all of these publishers decided to release like a romantasy style book on the same day. Maybe that was like unintentional, but I'm super excited for all 3 of them. All 3 of them I think are going to be really good reads, or at least I hope. 2 are from authors that I've already read, and 2 is from a new to me author. So yeah, I am so excited to get this vlog started. But before we dive in, I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, which is Luisa. So a lot of people actually comment on my videos and ask me where I get my bracelets from, and these are just 3 bracelets that I keep on all day, every day. I shower with them and everything like that, and sometimes they get tangled like they are today, but it doesn't really bother me. They're very lightweight. I like to mix and match silver with gold, so I have this silver one that has like a little heart charm. I have this next one has like flowers and pearls on it, and then I do have a permanent bracelet that's not from Luisa, but I can't take that one off. So I just decided to add to my stack. So I wear these all day, every day. I shower with them, I wash dishes with them, I clean with them, I do everything, and they do not tarnish at all, which I love about Luisa's pieces. But if at any time these do mess up or tarnish or anything like that, they have a 2-year warranty, and I think I've only had these for like a couple of months. I literally put them on when I got them. So yeah, I'm very excited that I have these and I wear them all the time. But Luisa sent me this new piece, which is a like necklace that has, let's see if you can see it, it has like a little book on it. So it's a book with a little pearl and a little heart charm. And if you guys know, when I saw this piece on their website, I was like, a book charm necklace? That is like perfect, clearly. Like, look at my library. Anyway, I thought it was so adorable and I had to have it, so this will be a piece that I wear constantly. I personally don't sleep and shower with necklaces. It just bothers me too much, but bracelets are totally fine. I do wear some rings by them. I love Luisa's jewelry. I love that you can buy pieces starting at just $39. I love that they're a carbon neutral company. I love just like how empowered they are for women. I just love all of it. They did send me this other piece that I was not expecting. So they have stackable necklaces, which I stack necklaces that are not like a collection, but they do have some collections. So it comes with like 2 pieces. So this is the first one. It is like a little pearl, elongated pearl necklace. And then this one, like a stackable necklace to go with it. So I will be wearing that too, but I felt like this is more like you either wear this one or you wear this one. I feel like if I stacked them, they would be a little weird, but I do have like a charm style choker that I could wear with this, but I feel like this was just fine for this little outfit. But I do love Luisa. You can use my code to save 15% on your purchase. I will have the link in the description box below if you want to check out their pieces. Like I said, I wear their bracelets every single day. I wear their necklaces when I'm going somewhere, when I'm filming. Most of the time, if you see me wearing any jewelry besides my wedding ring, I'm wearing Luisa's jewelry. So, but thank you to Luisa for sponsoring this video. Like I said, make sure you click the link in the description box below to check out their pieces and get yourself a little summer treat. So the 3 books that I am going to read that I'm so excited for. The first one is The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy by Bridget Knightley. So I thought this was a Germani fanfic that is turned trad published. It is not. It is a strict romantasy, and it is an enemies to lovers romantasy. It's set in an alternate England following an assassin and a healer forced to work together while resisting the urge to kill each other, or worse, fall in love. So it seems really cute. The font is pretty small and it's about 300 pages. So for a romantasy, it's not like super heavy. I have a feeling this is gonna be lighter fantasy, as in, like I said, it's set in an alternate England, so it's giving me a, what's the word, like an urban fantasy vibe. That's what I'm getting from this one. So it's not like a complete new world building, but I am very excited. I don't know if this is a start to a series. I don't know if it's a first in a series, a first in a duology, anything like that. It doesn't have anything at the end of the book. So we'll see if this is a standalone, but I will be reading this one. I also will be reading Rose in Chains by Julie Soto. So I have read Julie Soto before. I've read all of her like contemporary books that she's trad published. I do know that this is a Germani fanfic that Julie Soto took all of the lore, the Harry Potter lore out, and is trad published just as a strict romantasy. I am a little nervous for this because I've had some friends read this early. Some people loved it, favorite book of the year. Some people were like, it was okay, it's not my favorite. So I don't know how in-depth the romantasy, world building, magic, all of that is going to be, or if it's going to lean more towards urban fantasy, but I'm very excited. I have high hopes. I have a feeling I'm going to love it, but who knows, like I might be one of the few that just don't like it, but I have fingers crossed that I do like it because I'm tired of like reading mid-book. And the last one that I actually did start, so I do have an update for you, is Terra at the Gates by Scarlett St. Clair. So this is the first in a new series. It is the Blood of Lilith series. Now I did read all of Scarlett St. Clair's Hades and Persephone's retelling. I did try some of, I think her YA, or maybe it's like a standalone duology that she had, and I didn't particularly like those as much as I love the Hades and Persephone series, but I will say that, let me check my Kindle because I have it on my Kindle. I was able to get an e-arc from Bloom for this, so thank you Bloom for sending me an e-arc of this. I am 20% in, and this is a very interesting start. So this is also urban fantasy, which I'm not surprised that it's urban fantasy, only because the Hades and Persephone series that she has, it's like 8 books, I think. I have them all at the top of my shelf, but they're all like set in kind of this urban fantasy, like it's on Earth, just like with Greek gods and stuff like that. So I wasn't surprised that this is more urban fantasy too. It has a little bit of a world building element to where there's like different districts. There's like 5 or 6 different districts, and it's kind of explained in the first 20%, and I will say it's a little info dumpy right at the beginning, but the Hades and Persephone series was also like that, so I kind of expected it with this series, with this book in particular. But you have all of these different districts, and you see that Lilith, her name is Lilith Leviathan, which I think is such a powerful name. Like, Lilith Leviathan. Come on, like that is such a powerful name. But anyway, you see that her family, her father in particular, runs one district, and she doesn't want to get married. There's this whole aspect of women are the only ones who actually have magic, and usually they are basically married off so their husbands can just siphon energy and siphon their magic from them, which, you know, we love like a fuck the patriarchy moment, right? So I think that's where it's leaning, but she is in another district where, you know, her father was like, fine, go have your year to like explore, do everything like that, and then you're gonna come back and you are going to be loyal to the church. You're gonna see that things are not what you think. And so it's been a little bit over a year, and Lilith is like, I don't really want to go back. Like, I'm not going back. I'm not going back there. So I do find it interesting, this kind of like start of her finding her way in this book, her way of trying to like step out of the norm, basically. I will say, I think I know who the romance is with. It is the head leader of the district that she's in. You see that she kind of like pushes him a little bit with like flirting a little bit, but he doesn't really give in, and she has made a living stealing and then like reselling kind of like things and artifacts that she finds. And when she's in the club at the beginning of the book, his club, she finds this guy and she uses her magic, which is more like emotion manipulation, I guess. Like, she can tell that he is lusting after her, so he like changes that. It's interesting. It's not, I don't have a full grasp on her magic yet, and I think you're supposed to only get glimpses of it, but basically she finds out that this guy stole this dagger from a priest and killed the priest, and she takes the dagger, takes it to the antique shop, and the antique shop owner is like, what the heck did you find? And so, you know, the head guy, I think his name is, oh, I have a hard time pronouncing his name, Zarayev, Zahariev. I hope I'm saying that right, but I do find him interesting because he's like trying not to fall for her, but when he realizes she gets herself in trouble with this whole dagger that she stole, he takes it, pays her rent for 3 months so she doesn't have to steal and resell artifacts and stuff like that. And he's like, fine, you can dance in my club, but you're going to stay in a cage and you're not going to take your clothes off. So I'm like, okay, this is where it's going, and I am having a good time with it. So like I said, I started it yesterday. I got 20% in. I do plan to read a decent amount today, but that one is going well so far. We'll Fingers crossed it stays that well, but I hope you come along with me for this vlog where we read these literally most anticipated releases for a lot of people, and I hope that I love them all so I can tell you, like, yes, go pick them all up. They're all worth the read. And yeah, so let's go ahead and get this vlog started. I'm very excited for all of these books. I have just finished Terra at the Gates, okay? My plan was to not finish this book today, okay? I was 40% in at 7 o'clock today. And after dinner and everything, I sat down right here and I binged the rest of this book. Okay, listen, I have so many questions. I wish I could tell you what is going on with my head with words, but like the words are not coming out. Does that make sense? Like literally how? When I tell you I literally finished this book like 2 seconds ago, I said, what? That's it? And I kept pressing to the end and I put my Kindle down. I put my phone down and I turned on my camera literally within a minute. So I'm still trying to process my thoughts, so forgive me. Okay. A rating? What do I give that? I would say 4 stars, 4.5. That's not what I thought. Okay, that's not what I thought. So when I introduced this vlog, okay, I told you what the first 20-ish% was about. And listen, I don't know anything about the story of Lilith. I asked my husband about it and all he said was that Lilith was made at the same time as Adam, like they were made together as equals, and she was made before Eve. I don't know where this story comes from. This is just some of the lore he told me. So I don't know the full story. If you do, maybe this book will make more sense to you, but to me, everything was a shock. So Lilith is the daughter of the Leviathan family. You see that she is like in our hero's, in our hero's territory to be protected, like her dad's letting her have her moment of like rebellion, yada, yada, yada. And she, while is in this territory, she is finding out things. She, like I said, she finds this dagger. This dagger is like reappearing for her, even though she tries to make it go away. Like she drops it in a canal and it appears. Now there's a lot that happens in this book past that I don't want to say specifically. I feel like it would be a major spoiler. So I don't want to say too much about that. But I am very shocked by 1, the ending of that book, 2, how I feel about the ending of that book, 3, the placements of certain chapters that we get, like a certain point of view, because I thought they didn't make sense. And now I'm looking back, I'm like, oh my God, it makes so much sense. And now I'm like, I am like 99.9% sure this is a start to either a series or a duology. It is a first book in something, a series, duology, whatever. The way that ending happened. I have a lot of questions because of that. I will say this is more of an urban style fantasy, so definitely more on the in different territories. Like I said, there's like 5 or 6 different families. There's this talk about religion. There's a lot of talk about religion and how people feel about religion and what's written down and what was created by man and what was written down by man and then passed down and like rewritten a couple times. So I find that really interesting, but I'm someone who I do like a lot of talk about religion in books, of how like they question a lot of things. So it has that. I will say the magic is very like surface level. I think she meant to do that on purpose because you're learning things about Lilith's magic as the story goes on. But you see that only women have magic. So you only see it from, only certain women have magic, I should say. I do like the cast of characters. You have her best friend Coco. You have our hero, which I think his name is Zareth. Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm saying his name wrong. But I love him. I appreciate him because he sees Lilith as not something to be like conquered and held down and like placed into a box. He sees her for how she is and how she wants freedom and how she doesn't want someone to tie her down. He doesn't want to do that to her. So he literally loves her like the way that she is. It was actually very romantic looking back on some of the things that happened. Let me tell you, I haven't read a Scarlet St. Clair book that I was very, very obsessed with like this since I read her Hades and Persephone series. And I started that series back in 2018, 2019 maybe? I think it was 2019 if I'm not mistaken. Like when A Touch of Darkness first came out, I was reading them as they were being released. And the last book released last year, and I just finished it this year because I wasn't ready to say goodbye to those characters. Is it the most perfect series? No. But I love the nostalgic, but I can tell from her writing with this book that she has grown so much with her writing. And I personally think that the urban fantasy setting is perfect for her. I think that that's how kind of the Hades and Persephone series was. So I love the urban fantasy. I love this mystery horror element with this book, that you're trying to figure out what is happening to the world, like what is happening with like just people are dying and stuff like that. Like there's just like so many aspects to it that I literally could not stop reading. I literally could not stop reading. It is midnight. When I tell you, my phone tells me I should be in bed. You see how it's black? That means I should be asleep by now, okay? I really, really enjoyed this book. I really, really enjoyed it. I thought there were some parts that were slightly like, could have taken out like some of her day-to-day stuff that she was doing. Like I didn't care about her washing her clothes or doing her clothes. Like that's just me being like super nitpicky. But overall, I thought it was a really, really good read. Like I said, 4.5 star. This is, like I said, urban fantasy with a twist of horror, of mystery, of sweeping romance. Our hero is so swoon-worthy. The ending made me confused when they finally like gave into each other, because it's a very, very slow burn romance. But when they finally came together and like when they finally gave into each other, I was like, wow, this is moving very fast. And that's where I was like, I don't like where this is going. But things make sense now. And I loved it. I love it so much, guys. Like I really loved it. So that was a great book. I listened, if you watched my June wrap up already, June was a very mid-month for books for me. Like they were all like average 3.5 stars. And so I need really good books. So I'm glad I started with that one. Like I said, urban fantasy setting, so good, romantasy, fantasy romance. Like I cannot wait for the next book. Like this book hasn't technically even come out yet, okay? And I'm waiting for the next book. And I know trad published books take forever. So I really hope that maybe we'll get it later this year. If not early next year, like I'm gonna cry. Like I want that so bad. I'm very excited. Anyway, I'm going to, not tonight, but I'm gonna start this book next. Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy by Bridget Knightley. I don't know what kind of setting this is or anything like that. I do love the cover. Guys, give me a pink cover and I love it. Oh, he has a scar? He has a scar down his face. Oh, that's exciting. So yeah, this is more enemies to lovers, while Terra at the Gates was more forbidden, kind of like friends to lovers type thing. Like he was supposed to be watching over her, being her guardian, like making sure she doesn't get into trouble and stuff. So it'll be nice to switch gears to an enemies to lovers, which isn't always my favorite, but I have high hopes. So I'm very excited. Very, very, very excited. What a banger to start this vlog out with. Holy bananas, guys. Hello. This vlog took a very different turn than I was expecting. I have DNF'd the Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy. I got 60 something pages in, yeah, 64 pages. I'm on chapter 4. And I was getting the ick from this book. And I just personally think this book just doesn't work for me. And that's totally fine. Like, totally fine. Now, I don't know, I asked all my friends who have read like her fanfic. Now, I'm a little confused. I have heard that this was a fanfic, and then people were telling me it's not a fanfic that's been trad published. But then some people are still saying that it's a fanfic, and I'm pretty sure, pretty sure that this is not a fanfic that has been republished. This is a whole new romantasy story, enemies to lovers, all of that stuff. I don't particularly jive and vibe with this author's writing style. And I say that because it's just like, It's not British humor, because I thought it was like the British humor in here. It's not that. It's that the way that she writes things is not, is maybe very analytical a word? I don't know. I just don't like it. Also, I read the back of this book, so I'm going to show you this blurb. Let me make sure that I can see it. So this is the blurb. Okay, I hope you can read that. This blurb is very, very, very different than what's on Goodreads and Amazon. Now, I did get this early this year. I got this in April when I went to a Polycon, but I do know that these physical books are, like, these arcs have been out for a little while. So back on the back of this book, it says he finds himself sick with a degenerative disease, and he needs the expertise of a very specific healer. Which you guys know me, if you're new, hi, I'm Tori, I have a chronic illness. So disability, chronic illness, anything like that, I usually vibe with, okay? So I was reading this, then I go to look on Amazon Goodreads, and the blurb doesn't say anything about him having a disease, it just says that he's sick, like a degenerative disease. Now at the beginning of this book, you see that it's tied to his magic. So his magic is like something with like the nerve endings of his magic, like in his body. You really just dive right in. So it's like a lot of info dumping at the beginning. But she's talking about the degenerative disease, like I say her, the author and the hero, like his point of view is talking about this and yada, yada, yada. Don't mind in the slightest, like literally in the slightest about that. Because I was like, okay, cool. A lot of people deal with like some type of degenerative disease. I know she's putting it with his magic in here, but a lot of people deal with that kind of stuff, right? I personally do have a degenerative disease where my immune system will eat away at my joints. So I'm like, cool, get it. The first interaction that well, it's not the first, but it's like the second time where she's like, fine, I'll decide to heal you, even though they come from like different factions, they're rivals, they're enemies, like she does not like his kind, yada yada yada. She says like, well, there's nothing I can do. Like she assesses him and was like, well, there's nothing I can do, like your disease is like too far gone, basically, like prepare for death, basically. That's what she says. And I was like I get it, they're rivals, but that just like gave me the ick, and it's like a me thing, and I totally understand that. So yeah, I was reading, and then they used the word, oh, what was the word? And like I said, this is like her writing, I guess. They used the word invalid. Like he says, good, go look after your invalids, because she's a healer for like other people too. And she said, invalids, you're the most invalid of them all. I've never dealt with such a congenial, weak intellect. So I don't know. This book is just, I was gonna give it to 100 pages, but I was at 50 and I made it one more chapter, and I was like, I got to that part and I was like, this is just not for me. I don't like it. It's always gonna be in the back of my head. I personally don't like that the blurb on Amazon and Goodreads don't say anything about his degenerative disease, because I feel like that's something you definitely should know. A lot of things are just rubbing me the wrong way, and you know what? Instead of reading a book that gives me the ick like this, I'm gonna move on. And I'm gonna read Rose and Chains. So I will be starting Rose and Chains tonight, which I'm very, very excited about. But unfortunately, this did not work for me. I'm really sad because I love a pink cover. I love that cover. I think it's beautiful. But yeah, did not work for me. I do know like her writing style of like the banter. I don't know if I call it rom-com, banter, whatever you want to call it. It's just like not my cup of tea. And I heard that her fanfic is exactly like that. Like that's just her writing style. So maybe this author is just never gonna be for me, and that's totally fine. I just don't vibe with her writing, and that's okay. But I am very excited for Rose and Chains. I will be starting that tonight. How many pages is this? Oh, it's 450 pages. That's not too bad. So I will be starting to that tonight. I have a lot of work to get done today, but it's not like a long time. I've been, for the last 2 weeks with work, been like super swamped. So I'm really excited that like I finally just get to sit down after dinner and just read and not have to like come back and work, because I just had a lot of stuff to do. So I'm very excited for that. But I am just, yeah, I'm gonna clear my mind. We're gonna pretend that I didn't even try to read The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy. Needless to say, I would say pass on that one. If you like certain books like I do and it just doesn't like sound good to you, like just pass it up. So Rose and Chains, I do know it is the auction that has been the lore, Harry Potter lore taken out, and now it is like a new published Romantasy. All I know is that she is auctioned off to him and he is her biggest enemy or something like that. That's all I know. And yeah, I'm gonna dive in to that one tonight. I'm very, very excited. So fingers crossed I don't DNF that one, because that is also an anticipated release for me, and I'm gonna cry if that one is also like a DNF and I don't like that one. hello. So I have started Rose in Chains, okay? And I have lots of thoughts. So where do I start? Okay, so I'm about 20% into this book. And I will preface this by saying I have not read the auction. I heard that it's amazing though, which is the fanfic that is now not up on AO3. I also do not know anything about Harry Potter. So like, yes, I read Manacled, but that's like the only fanfic that I've read. I didn't read the books when I was younger. I haven't read them when I was older. I watched some of the movies. So like, I know like the main 3 characters and that's it. I don't know any of the lore. I don't know any of like the families and all that stuff. I don't know anything about that, okay? Going into this, the first 20% of any fantasy book or any romantasy is going to be a lot. It's going to be telling to where how it's set up on the story as the reader. Do you understand the world building? Do you understand the political intrigue? Do you know all this? So basically what I have gotten from the first 20%. You have the Rosewood family. They have been pushed farther and farther south. There's this prophecy that our female character Bryony, ooh, I don't know if I'm saying her name right. Anyway, our female character, you see that she has a twin named Rory. He is like what they call like the prophecy. He's the son of the king that's going to make the war stop and all this other stuff. So you see that in flashbacks, which are not my favorite. There's a lot of flashbacks. So like where the first chapter is now, the second chapter is 6 months or 6 hours ago, and then you go to now again, and then you go to 8 years ago, and then you go to present, and then it's like 7 years ago. I'm like, why are we getting these flashbacks? Like I get it, but like I'm not someone who is like, flashbacks have to make sense, and right now they don't make sense because all it is explaining is that there was this magical school where all of these kids go from both kingdoms or all the kingdoms that they would go and they would all learn magic. But yet this family doesn't like this family. So like our female character doesn't like our main male character. I think his name is Tovin, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't like his family. And he has like friends that are underneath him. So it's like Tovin, Bryony, and then it has like friends underneath them like that just follow them because of their families, like they're probably loyal to their families and like yada yada yada. Okay, so that's like the 2 main things. Now you flash back to present, you see that our female character, there's like people bombarding the castle that she's in. She found out her brother's dead, like her whole family's dead now, and all of the generals that were, I guess, following her brother into battle. So then you see that these people, this woman has been in charge, they call her mistress or whatever, she's been in charge and she's been leading this war and pushing them farther and farther south. They've captured all these women, they put them in chains around the neck, around the wrists, and apparently it shuts off their magic. Now, each of the families in each of the kingdoms have different magic, and she's some magic, and I guess our hero has more mind magic, and she has more like heart magic, if I'm not mistaken. So I will say that's a little confusing, because I'm like, why is there different magics? Like, it's just a lot in the first 20% with the magics system and how to figure that out, you know, yada yada yada. So basically what I'm assuming is now going to happen now that I'm 20% in, they've captured all these women, put them in these chains, they're going to auction them off. They have figured that out. Heroine, I guess you could say, she is literally the one that's probably going to get sold for the most. So they want to make sure that she's not pregnant. They're making sure all the women are not pregnant. They're making sure that, you know, they're all in good, at least decent health for what they're going to be auctioned off for. So yes, this is on the darker side. I would consider this so far a darker romantasy, because of the whole auction part. I don't know how dark it's gonna get. I will say there is a part, and there's trigger warnings at the beginning of the book, of sterilization of women. It so far is a lot. I'm not like hating the book at all. I'm farther in than I was The Irresistible Urge to Fall for Your Enemy, and I like this one. I'm like more, I shouldn't say I like this one more. I'm more intrigued by this book than I was that book. So that's saying something. But I just like, it's a lot with the flashbacks of trying to figure out timeline stuff, the political, the family, and 20%, that's a lot. So I will say it's a lot of like info dumpy with everything, because she's trying to basically rebuild this world that her fanfic had all the Harry Potter lore. Like, you could have picked up this fanfic and you knew the Harry Potter lore with the families, you knew the magic, how it worked, you knew all of these different things, you knew what the war was about. Like, you just picked it up. So I will say I'm not surprised by it being so info dumpy, because she had to rework a lot of things. I wish it wasn't, because I've read a lot of other fantasy and romantasy books that don't info dump 20% in like this. So there's plus and minuses, pros and cons with everything. So I'm definitely gonna keep reading. I'm not like, I don't really have a bigger opinion other than that. I'm just like stating the first 20%. I feel like now that we're 20% in, whatever happens going forward, I'm not gonna say spoiler wise, because I think pretty much what we've gotten so far is not super spoilery. It's just explaining the world building and explaining the magic, kind of, and the political intrigue, which may help some of you out if you pick up this book. So I'm not going to talk about plot stuff going forward of what it's about, but I will talk about my overall feelings. So I'm going to go read, because I'm going to go get ready for bed, because it's 11 o'clock at night. But I hope you enjoyed my little ranty thoughts about that, because I was like, I need to sit with these thoughts for a second. So I sat in my bed and I was like, let me get my thoughts together, and then let's finally turn on the camera. So that is my thoughts. And I will talk to you when I get farther into the book. I don't know how far, but when I get farther into where I feel like I have something to say. Hello. Happy, I don't know what day it is. Thursday? Today was a rough day. Do I look rough? I feel a little rough. I was not feeling good for like, after I was working for like 5 or 6 hours, and I just was not feeling good. So I went to lay down. And I've been reading Rose and Chains, and I have an update for you that I'm actually very excited about. So I am 60% in, so I went from about 20% to 60% today. And I will say that I do have thoughts. I feel mixed about this. So by the time I got to 60% of like Terra at the Gates, the first book I read for this vlog, I had a feeling like what my rating was around gonna be. Right now, I have no idea. So when I updated you at 20%, I'm actually editing my footage, because I usually will edit it as I like add a clip, just so it's easier on me for vlogging wise, behind the scenes thing. So I'm actually editing the part where I talked last night, and I talked a lot about how it's confusing with the world building, the magic system, you're trying to get all this together, all the people. And I always say this with Romantasy, that when you have a Romantasy book, and if things are info dumpy at the beginning, as a reader, usually I find that the more important stuff will come up later again. So like about her magic, the different types of magic, the different people, the different kingdoms right now. Well, now there's not actually another kingdom, like she's the last of her line. So like all of that stuff came up later in the book, and I feel like I have a better grasp at 60% than I did at 20%. And I personally don't like all the flashbacks. There are flashbacks still up until 60%. And I think she did that because this is actually a very, very dark book. It is the auction. She is auctioned off, and she is kept in a mansion, castle type thing by her biggest enemy. And, you know, a lot of things happen, and she, right now it's 60%, she actually leaves that castle after a month or so or something like that. And she is put into this like party where she could see all the other people that also, well, not every person, but a lot of other people that have been auctioned off, and she sees how far, like how bad other people have it. Like people are being assaulted, people are, you know, having their magic taken without their consent and stuff like that. So this is a very dark book, and I think that personally the flashbacks make it less dark, because you are seeing the little glimpses that they previously had together, like our heroine Bryony. I hope I'm saying her name right. Briony. Bryony. I'm assuming it's kind of like a play on Hermione, because this was a Hermione fanfic. So that's what I think that her name is, but his name is Tovin. So you see that like you're getting glimpses of like stuff that happened to when they were at school. Like he would like go sit underneath her tree where she would go and read every day, and like they would banter and like, you know, argue about that and stuff like that. So I have a feeling those flashbacks are trying to make it seem less dark. Now I'm very interested to read the auction, because I think I have it downloaded. Like I downloaded on my Kindle way back, like when I first read Manacled, because it was still a Hermione fanfic. I do have it actually. Okay, I do still have it. Now it was a lot longer. I don't know how many pages it is, but I do love this cover. I'll show you the cover. That's the cover. I do love this cover. So I am very interested to see like where like where the differences are. Does the auction also have flashbacks, or is that supposed to be like super dark and you don't get those flashbacks? So I'm very intrigued with that. Like I said, I'm not going to talk about anything plot wise that is happening because this far into a book, I don't know, I don't want to spoil anything for anyone. I am intrigued. Like right now, the beginning was like a 3-star for me. I was like, I don't know, like all this info dumpy, like it was taken, I was trying to connect with the characters and all of this information was like taking me out of that, if that makes sense. But now I feel like I'm at a little more of like a 3.5, 4-star right now, which is progress. It's good. I have a feeling though this last 40% is going to be a lot. I do know it ends on a cliffhanger, so if you didn't know that, I had a friend who read it and said it ends on a cliffhanger. It is part of a trilogy. I know the auction is part of a trilogy. I don't know if this is going to be a trilogy or if she's going to make it like a longer Romantasy series, but I do know that. So I'm interested. I'm definitely intrigued on where the ending is going to go, where it's going to end, where things are going to leave off. Is there a romance? No. I don't think there's really a romance at all right now. Like clearly you see like maybe back in the day she had a little bit of a crush on him, but like from his point of view, we don't even get his point of view, but like on his side, it's like he has no interest in her. So I don't know if the flashbacks will go to his point of view or not. I don't know. But I would love to get his point of view. I always love it when there's dual point of view because I feel like you get like a broader, like he's doing a lot of things for, obviously he's part of like the people who won the war, I guess you can say. So like he goes off and does a lot of things like on missions and stuff like that, and I would love to see his point of view because I feel like he would give you a little bit more insight of the political intrigue, what's happening behind the scenes. Now I don't know if we're going to get it later in the series, but that is my overall thoughts at 60%. I am very intrigued to finish this book, so I would probably update you tomorrow sometime when I finish it. That is my thoughts at 60%. I feel like I've gone from a very different perspective and like thoughts on like 20% to 60%. So yeah, 40% left. I'm hoping that it goes up to a 4-star, and I'm going to get ready for bed. I'm gonna watch Love Island because I cannot go on Threads tonight. Love Island just, it's 9:20 at night. Love Island just dropped their new episode and I have to get ready for bed and watch it before I go on Threads, because Threads is always filled with spoilers because people watch it and they like post at the same time. So yes, Love Island is still taking over my life. If you watch my vlogs, yes, Love Island is still taking over my life, and I'm gonna go watch that and then I'm gonna read. So yeah, that's my update. I hope my thoughts make sense, but fingers crossed that this turns out to be good and it doesn't like, I don't know, dip to like a 2-star, because then I'm gonna be really upset. I do not want a 2-star read. No 2 stars here, if I can help it. Hello, I am here to give you my final update for this vlog. So I did end up finishing Rose in Chains last night, and I feel a little conflicted about the ending and all that stuff. So when I updated you at 60%, I was like, okay, this is going good. It's going like solid. I'm liking the characters. Like I'm involved, like I'm invested, right? And now that I finished the book, the ending was so just bizarre and like kind of out of nowhere. Like obviously I knew something was going to be a cliffhanger-y type thing. I knew at the end of the book that there was going to be something where I was like, oh man, did not see this coming. But like I feel like it didn't really make sense a little bit. I'm still very conflicted. I think I'm gonna land at a 3.5 star. Because it's not a 3, it's not a 4, it's like right in the middle at 3.5. Like, do I think it has good writing? Absolutely. Like, there's no argument that Julie Soto doesn't write a good book. I just feel like the pacing and the content of the story wasn't as fleshed out as I personally would have hoped it would be. Now, I do really believe that like with the whole taking the Harry Potter lore out, she had a lot of work to do to rebuild the world, rebuild the magic system, all of that stuff. And while I think she did a solid job with it, I don't know where the romance is going. That was kind of like a weak point in my head. Like I feel like there's obviously something there between the characters, him specifically, but like he won't give in to her, but there's no like definite reason why he won't. Like he won't really talk to her and like tell her everything that's happening. So I just feel like it was like a good start to a series. The romance is very slow burn, but I also felt like some of the romance or times when they're alone and like certain things are happening in the book, I felt like it slightly felt like forced. It was like she was trying to put this in there for the sake of trying to still make it a romance. Like, I would have been totally fine with the subtle touches, the caretaking scenes when they need it. Like, I would have been totally fine with that. Now, the flashbacks, they were fine to me. I feel like conflicted about the flashbacks because if she were to put all that information at the beginning of the book, you probably wouldn't be as invested in the characters. But with the flashbacks, because it's going back to when they're younger, I don't actually know the age they are. Maybe in their early 20s at the beginning of the book, like in the present time. I do feel like they read a little bit young, considering they were going back and forth, like his friends that he would meet up with every Friday night that were in the top 10, like the next in line for the throne type of a thing. And I just felt like they read a little young for my take. And I think with a darker romance, when you have characters that feel young but you're trying to make it kind of like this darker romance, which it definitely is, I just feel like it was like contradicting itself, if that makes sense. So I have a lot of mixed thoughts, and like there's obviously pros, there's obviously cons, and like, will I be continuing with the series? Yes, I will pick up the next book when it comes out because I am intrigued. I just hope that the second book is going to be better than this book. I will say that, like I said, at 60% you have a better understanding of the world, the magic, so it's easy and all that stuff. So yeah, I just felt like there was like not everything like super fleshed out, but it was a good start to a series. At least I didn't DNF it, and I did give it 2 stars. So that's on the plus side for me because I was worried that it would like tank after. So that is all I have for this vlog. I really hope that you guys enjoyed watching me reading these 3 very, very, very anticipated releases for this week. I love Romantasy. I am in such a Romantasy mood, so I was really happy that I was able to read these early. Thank you to the publishers for allowing me to read these early and accepting me to receive an e-arc early of them. Once again, thank you to the sponsor, which is Luisa Jewelry. Make sure you check out my link in the description box below to check out some of their pieces and use my code for some money off. But if you've made it this far and you want to let me know, leave me a rose emoji for Rose and Chains. Leave me a rose emoji in the comments down below. But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe for more content from me. As always, I hope you're living a novel life, and I will see you in my next one. Bye, guys.